Jean-Claude Blanc out as director. Big boardroom shuffle for Manchester United. Let's break it down. Jean-Claude Blanc, his role has been terminated on March 31st, and he's stepping down, heading into a new role, Chief of International Football Relations and Special Advisor to the Board, a.k.a. hit the road. He's out. INEOS shuffling, getting rid of people. He came over from PSG. He was rumored to be involved in the commercial operations. He brought the Jordan Jumpman to PSG. Been very successful over there. Thought that he would sort of hit the ground running with INEOS, but again, could be personal reasons. Could you be Sir Jim kind of reshuffling everything? Chaos at Manchester United. How are we feeling?
It's not a good sign either way. I mean, he doesn't have the panache of a Dan Ashworth. Dan Ashworth attached to signings, but let's be honest, Jean-Claude Blanc is someone who's a serious football person. Serious football pedigree with the chops at PSG and Juventus. He knows how to build a commercial powerhouse, and the fact that he's coming in and out, and like you said, this is like a firing before a firing. Chief International Football Relations and Special Advisor. That was like the title they gave like Rangnick before they fucking just sent him on a iceberg and shipped him out of Manchester. It speaks to the level of dysfunction that we've witnessed at INEOS to date running Manchester United. Like, they're the minority owner, but they're running the club. And the fact that they're chopping and changing all over the place is not a good sign, because well-run organizations, they have stability. They have stability in their executive team. You're going to always have some ins and outs, but we've seen way too much movement, way too much firing, way too many shuffles, that this is now starting to look like Sir Jim is a bit of a madman. I mean, of course he is. Rich fucking billionaire. But this is not a great sign in terms of speaking to like the steady hand being controlling over Manchester United's destiny. It's a little worrisome that they seem to be all over the place.
It's part of the game, innit?
It's part of the game, isn't it? Like, the board shuffle. Look, Jean-Claude Blanc, all the promise that came with him, all the hype that came with him. Dan Ashworth, all the promise that came with him, all the hype that came with him. Probably the top two guys INEOS brought in. We did the breakdown of who INEOS was bringing in, why we were excited about that. And one thing about INEOS, I kind of felt there'd be stability. You have Dan Ashworth. Like, you got him from Newcastle. It was a effort to get him in, and then boom, he's gone. Jean-Claude Blanc coming in as well. And then he's being shuffled out to this kind of like figurehead role that's not great for the club. What this shows me is there's only one person who really runs the show at Manchester United, and it's Jim Ratcliffe.
And he lives in Monaco.
And he gives interviews to Gary Neville where he gets absolutely cooked.
Oh, my God.
And then he gets defensive and then says, hey, well, the management team decided to bring in Ruben Amorim.
Fuck, I got to fire him.
But I decided to fire Eric. He kind of like hides behind it.
He does.
He clearly calls all the shots.
Yeah.
He's clearly involved in everything.
Yep.
Micromanage.
Definitely.
Right? Let these guys do their jobs. Like I would, as an owner, I would give Dan Ashworth 3 years. I would literally it's not about how he feels to hang around him. It's not about like does he take my calls? Do we get along at dinner? No, this guy should be left alone to execute.
Give him a pot of money.
And he's given a budget, and you literally give him 3 years to sign and rebuild this team and hire the manager. And for some reason, Jim Ratcliffe didn't want to give that much control over to Dan Ashworth. That's the only reason why you would fire him, because at the end of the day, he should be making the calls. Like we said, why switch from back four to 3-4-3? Ashworth probably said you shouldn't do that, and probably don't want to do that in the EPL. Berrada and Jim Ratcliffe cooked that up, being like, let's hire the best young coach. That is the thing that Ed Woodward did. That is the thing Richard Arnold did. That is the thing the Glazers have like basically accepted at this club. And now you're seeing it with Jean-Claude Blanc heading out the door. For me, churn in exec teams is a sign of disarray. It's a sign of desperation. And if you look at how we're doing on the pitch, doesn't give you confidence. This is another one from Sir Jim that's perplexing. Think about it. 2 directors of football, Wilcox, Ashworth. You keep Wilcox? Like, I don't get how that works. You're bringing Jean-Claude LeBlanc. Who's running commercials? Like, why isn't this guy doing it? Juventus, PSG, like, built those teams up into the six. I feel like the height of their powers, they both have fallen since he has left. Why not include him at INEOS? And Sir Jim's ego, heads are rolling.
Here's the thing, is like, it's not easy, but it's much more straightforward just to hire experienced people, put them in the role, and let them do their job. The problem is, like, these guys are overreaching millionaires. This guy, he's really smart, unbelievably successful. That's Sir Jim Ratcliffe. So he thinks his brilliance extends to everything. It's like, I love sport. I'm going to be really good at sports. He needs to let these guys do their job. Like you said, give them 3 years. Like, the last one to go would be Omar, because the big three that came in was Ashworth, Jean-Claude, and Omar Berrada. And if Omar goes, there's nobody left at the helm, right? So it's like, this speaks to instability. This speaks to the fact that at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who's appointed where. Sir Jim sitting in Monaco is only like one bad fucking sale away from calling up and be like, you're fucking fired, you know, because he's a hothead and he doesn't have time, by the way. He's an old man and he wants this shit settled now, and he doesn't have 3 years, and it's his money, of course. But at the same time, like, I don't think he's very patient, and you need to be patient because where we are is we're a full shit sandwich, and like that's going to take time.
I think they're
fucked, bro. It's all falling apart.
I think INEOS is. I think they literally, Jim Ratcliffe proved that he's not a serious person when he fired Dan Ashworth.
No, of course.
Like that.
Of course.
That literally
was it.
is.
That was it. We'll talk about that for years.
No,
sir. We'll talk about that for years.
No. Like that happened, and I was like devastated.
No, it was depressing.
It was over.
It was depressing.
It's almost like.
Oh, there goes that
one. What? Welcome back to the just same bullshit. The rich guy thinks he knows better.
Always.
Like, just like, and this, and like, but,
and they never do.
Also, what it really comes down to as well, and I think the Ashworth thing was a power play between Omar Berrada and Dan Ashworth. And I think Dan Ashworth, like we've always said, there should be the CEO of the business, and then there should be the CEO of the football club. And Berrada didn't see it that way. He felt like the CEO, the Ed Woodward.
It goes to Jim. It's not on Omar's. It's on Jim.
I'm giving you my view of it. So why wouldn't Dan Ashworth work out? Who wanted to bring in Southgate or be boring, and who wanted Ruben Amorim? The rumors were that Berrada was the guy pushing Amorim and was out there in Portugal signing him. That was what was written about it. And Ashworth obviously wasn't there and wasn't doing that. So, and who stayed, who went. Now Berrada is in full control. He's going to be at the league meetings, right? This is a consolidation of power, and it tells me Berrada's a yes man. It's to do whatever Sir Jim wants, and that power. And it's like, how is that going to go? We're going to see. It's Berrada's. The CEO of Manchester United is the CEO of the football club as well. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. The CEO of the business is the CEO of the football club. It's Omar Berrada. He brought in Ruben Amorim. It is Ed Woodward 3.0. It's not world-class director of football running football operations. The CEO is the buck stops with him, and then the buck stops with Jim. That is what happened in this consolidation of power tree. And that's what's happening in Manchester United. And that's why we're seeing shit results.
Well, the buck starts with Jim. It's not, Omar is enabled it by Jim. At the end of the day, it's like you have a board member.
But just like the Glazers were enabled by Woodward. It's like the one guy running the show. It's the same thing. Woodward signed the players.
Omar Berrada is more qualified than Ed Woodward.
But I'm saying it's the same system of thinking. Woodward signed the players. He signed the coach. Or maybe he should be running the business, and then the director of football should be doing that. That's the problem. We don't have the director of football system where the director of football is the one doing that. And that's the problem.
Guess what?
With
they sketched this up on paper, doing exactly what they should be doing in terms of following the model that gets you back to the promised land. What City actually did, beyond the cheating part, is like build a football structure where there's like basically two orgs that are independent from each other, but they work together in harmony. And instead, he looked at that and said, fuck that. He just started meddling. Sir Jim just started meddling. He just started meddling. And by the way, when it was all sketched out and we had all the parts in place, it was like set up like a real football club, like a real football corporation. And then he started, you're fired. Now this guy's fired. Now push these guys together. Now you report to dude. He's just coming in.
This is
another rich guy who doesn't know what the fuck he's doing.
3.0 with the board above him, and it's like Berrada's going to sign the player, and it's just the whole thing. It's like the CEO show now, and it wasn't before. It was the CEO and then the director of football show, and the director of football doesn't need Sir Jim, and he doesn't need Omar Berrada either, right? If you think about where Ashworth is going to go and look at his CV, he's completely fine. And at the end of the day, Manchester United, the chaos with INEOS continues. What do you think this move means for the power structure at United? Smart delegation or behind the scenes drama? Drop your thought in the comments below. Please like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we'll see you in the next video.